Entitled parents. Entitled mom tries to steal my game console for her son. Better if you read everything. Quick recap, my dad wanted a one-of-a-kind retro console that didn't exist anymore. I found one on Craigslist, and when I made the trade in a cafe, then a mom and her son came over to check it out. Better recap, this story takes place a few years ago in a mall quite far from my hometown. A little backstory. My dad loves everything retro. He is always blasting old music, quoting old movies, but most of all he loves old retro video games. He talked a lot about this off-brand gaming console his dad got him as a kid, and at the time he didn't understand it was cheap and off-brand, but he loved it so much. Since he was young and the console was not Nintendo, Sega or a well-known company like that, he didn't remember the name of it, and couldn't find it at any store even with the description he gave. I, like my father, love video games. I mostly play new next-gen games, but I still appreciate the old stuff. I wanted to buy either an Xbox or PS4. Either one I bought was gonna be so expensive and I wanted to get one cheap. I decided to use Craigslist and I searched up video game console just to see which console I could get a better price for. While scrolling through I noticed some retro stuff, and I got to thinking maybe someone was selling the console my dad said he had as a kid. When I typed in the description, there it was. Someone had posted one that fit his description exactly. The guy was selling it for about $75. I messaged the guy and he seemed pretty nice. We planned to meet at this mall near his town that was about a 45-minute drive away. He told me he wasn't sure all the cords and stuff were there, and at the mall I could buy a wah if I needed one. I got to the mall, and we set up the console in a cafe next to a GameStop. We set it up, it works great, and we make the deal. I'm not sure if this is the exact one my dad asked for, even though it was exactly what he described, but I knew he would be happy nonetheless. Before I started packing it up I wanted to play a little. This is where the entitled mom of the story and her 8 or so year old son come up to me. The kid notices the game I was playing and said it looked really fun. Entitled mom noticed me playing and walked over. Entitled mom, hey, what game are you playing? Looks fun. Me, oh, I'm not sure. I just bought this console. Entitled mom, how much was it? Me, well, I paid $75. Entitled mom, awesome. Did you get it at this GameStop? She motions toward the store right next to us. I was getting weird vibes, even though nothing weird had happened in our conversation. Me, no, they probably don't sell it there. I got it from someone else. She got an angry look on her face. Entitled mom, who did you buy it from? Me, I got it off Craigslist. Entitled mom, not where, from who? Me, why do you need to know? She did not like that. Entitled mom, listen. I want to buy my son a console for his birthday, but the new ones are all just too expensive. We have been to 3 different stores and everything costs $300 or more, which is just crazy for a single parent to afford. I wouldn't expect a kid like you to understand. Now tell me who the person you bought it from was, and give me their number. Want to see if they are selling another one. At this point I just want out of this whole conversation. I wouldn't want the person who sold me this console to give my number out to random people, so I'm not going to give entitled mom his number. I start packing up the console and keep the conversation going until all my stuff is packed, so I can leave the cafe and get out of there. Me, I don't think he has any more to sell. I use Craigslist to find one, so if you just open your phone and entitled mom, what are you doing with the console? Me, I'm just putting it away. Entitled mom, listen, let me just buy it from you. I need to get my son a gift and I don't have much time. She takes a step closer and I start scoot backwards because I don't want anything to happen to the gift, and I hate when people are too close to me. It gives me anxiety. So when she grabs my arm and I immediately pull away out of fear, letting go of the game. She grabs the game and moves it to the other end of the cafe table, so I can't reach it. Entitled mom, listen, I will pay you for it. My son's birthday was a few days ago and so I need this gift right now. I'm running out of time, so just listen to me. She pulls out her wallet and I realize if I don't start being aggressive she might take off with my dad's present. I stand up and reach to the other end of the table. Maybe you should have planned on getting a gift before your son's birthday instead of trying to steal one from a stranger. She then snags the system from my hands and hands it to her son behind her, so I can't get a hold of it. Entitled Mum, I'm not stealing it. I will pay you what you got it for. She forces 2 20s and a $1 bill into my hand and then goes over to my bag to get the controllers and wires I had already put away. At this point I'm furious. She is trying to pay me less than what I just paid for a console that they don't make anymore, and judging by the fact the Craigslist post was up for 6 months with no competition, it was safe to assume this was the only way I could get this console for my dad's birthday. I go to the kid and take it back from him. I did it a little aggressively because everything was happening so fast and I panicked. The second I took the console back the kid started crying, and now the entire cafe was watching. The mum spun her head around, saw her kid and her new audience of people. Entitled Mum, why are you stealing my son's game? She dropped the controllers, and she ran over to her crying child. Later I found out that one controller cracked when it fell. It's mine, not yours. Entitled Mum, I paid you for it, so now it's mine. Either you give me my money back, or you can't have it. I pointed to the money she tried to give me, that I placed on the table. Take it. I never agreed to give it to you, so now I'm going to take my stuff and leave. Entitled Mum, no, it's now my son's console. I could tell she was about to do something like call thief, when another customer chimed in saying something like, lady, it's not yours. Entitled Mum looked at all the faces staring at her. I assume she came to her senses, because she picked up her son and just left. I grabbed everything, put it in my bag, and scurried away as fast as I could. To finish my end of the story, I went back home and wrapped the gift. At his birthday I gave it to my dad, and he was so happy he cried. I got the right one. He was so ecstatic I found the right one, and the only time I had ever seen him happier was in videos of his wedding day and my birth. I didn't get my own gift, but seeing my dad's face when he saw that I had gotten him a gift and I had listened and cared about him was worth more than any game or console I could buy. I think it's important that I say something about this whole experience. When I talked to this mom, I didn't see a nasty evil one-dimensional demon who was just the scum of the earth. This mom was in a frantic panic, and when she said I stole her son's console, I think she truly believed she was trying to do the right thing for her son. Not that this is any reason for behavior like this, but in the moment I wasn't able to see that this was a person who was a single mother just trying to find a game she could afford and would make her son happy. In life it's important to remember that everyone has their own story, and it's important to remember in the end we are all human, even though some people don't act like it sometimes. I hope I don't run into her or anyone like that again. But I do wish the mom found a gift for her son and they were able to celebrate his birthday happily, just like I got to with my dad. I was with you up until your last paragraph. That was the Karen. She might not have seemed like it at first, but she was a nasty, vile, demented entitled parent. 1. She tried to make her failure to provide for her child your problem. 2. She tried to guilt trip you into doing something you didn't want, simply because it was good for her and or her kid. 3. She stole from you when you didn't instantly comply with her wishes. The fact that she tried to give you money after snatching the console doesn't undo the fact that she snatched the console. 4. She engaged her child in assisting her theft. An 8-year is old enough to at least begin to understand basic concepts like don't take other people's stuff, so clearly the kid hasn't been raised well, another indication of an ep. 5. She tried to then accuse you of stealing from her to get her way. It doesn't get much more entitled and Karen Y than that. She just had a better cover as she approached. Entitled Mum wants me to let her son try on my football helmet. This is a pretty short story, but I thought it belonged here. A little backstory. I play on my high school football team and was taking my pad/gear home to wash before a game. I walked out of the PE building and towards the parking lot when a little kid, entitled kid, that was watching our practice, comes up to me. Entitled kid, can I try on your helmet? Me, no, sorry, it's probably too big for you and it's pretty sweaty anyway. Now entitled kid didn't like me refusing him, so he started to whine. His mother, entitled mum, heard this commotion and came to see what was happening. Entitled mum, what happened baby? Entitled kid, he won't let me try on his football helmet. Entitled mum, I'm sure he will, if we ask nicely. Now at this point I had started to walk away as I was tired and wanted to go home. Entitled mum, hey, get back here, will you let my son here try on that helmet? Once again, I explained that the helmet was big and sweaty, and I needed to leave. This she did not like one bit. Entitled mum, I'm sure you can spare a minute. Here, give it to me, she said, reaching for my helmet. Me, no, I have to go. Entitled mum proceeded to scream at me and make a huge scene. I finally said screw it and gave in, handing her the helmet. She put it onto the kid's head and he started complaining that it was all wet and nasty. Me, well, I told you that before. Entitled mum, how dare you talk to my son like that? Here, take your nasty helmet, she said, throwing the helmet at me. Look at what you did. Now his head is all sweaty and I have to make him shower. She stormed off and I gladly have not seen her or her son since. This made me smile. Man, don't you just love the world of entitled people? Yup, gotta love them. Thank you for watching, you amazing internet people.